Ragazzi, come va? If you're ready to get your Italian on with Nembrini Audio's latest app, Ti chiamo Daveypoo, the mobile music minstrel. Come va? That's right. I am back today with Nembrini Audio's latest Quinta Pitch Machine. Okay, so I'm today going to do something different than probably a lot of the other guys out there. I'm not going to play this with a guitar. I'm going to play this with a bass. That's right, my Fender Precision bass. For years, I have been using my Boss OC2 octave pedal. You see it here. It is quite beat up. That's right. Okay? But this one is different because while the OC2, and you can see here, it does octave 1 and octave 2. They are 1 octave down and 2 octaves down. Quinta is a little different. Here, you've got 1 octave down, 1 octave up, and a 5th up. So you get a little bit of a different effect. Now, I've been trying to come up with some interesting ways to use this. I tried to set it up like the OC2, like I typically do. We're going to run through a couple of different things here. Let's talk through my setup. I am in 8 matrix as always. I am running an instance of gain pan here to boost the volume output from my Behringer UMC 404 HD. Now, I got a question on a previous video. Why am I using gain pan when I could simply turn up the gain with using the node? Like, for instance, if I were to, I'm going to do it over here. If I were to activate a node here for this, I could simply turn up the node, turn down the node. Okay, I don't, without having to use a separate plugin. Why am I choosing to use gain pan? There's a few reasons. In the past, I've set up things with using the node to adjust the gain and then realized later I wanted to map that gain to, say, my Korg Nano Control 2. And the node is not mappable, is not MIDI mappable. So I can't map the gain, the growing node, to a MIDI controller. That's the first thing. That means it's also not automatable. Here in gain pan, if you click on this, I could automate the gain. I could automate the pan and get an auto pan thing going. You can't do that with the node. Additionally, the node can only boost the gain by 12 dB, whereas this can do it up to, I think, 36 dB. So there's a lot greater range here and a lot finer control. So that's why I choose to use gain pan rather than using the node. You know, now I've gotten into the habit of it, so it's just what I do. Okay, so anyway, we're in 8 matrix. I have gain pan. I'm running into an instance of Nembrini Audio's Black Eyes Beta Gamma just because it's awesome. And I did a review of it. You should go check it out. I'll put a link in the description below. But I've tried to set this up pretty flat. You see, I've got the EQ flat. I've got the compressor turned off. The distortion and all that stuff's turned off. Just to try to get a very basic bass sound. Okay, just no frills. I wanted you to really be able to hear Quinta, and I wanted to use more Nembrini Audio apps because they're awesome. All right, after that, I've got Quinta. Okay, I've got an instance of Rock Drum Machine here to just kind of play something that we can jam along with. No big deal. And then I've got a couple of other Nembrini apps, BST 100 and Delay 3000 that we're going to use for a tricky setup. So here's the bass sound I got, like I just played. It's, you know, fine. Not great, not spectacular in any way. I didn't try to shape the tone at all, like I said before. Now, I'm going to run into Quinta and then back into Black Eyes Beta Gamma. The first thing I noticed when doing this is there is a noticeable latency between just running into Quinta and running straight into Black Eyes Beta Gamma. So, for instance, here's Black Eyes Beta Gamma, just so you can hear what I played before. Now, if I run through Quinta and into Black Eyes Beta Gamma, you hear all the stuff. Now, if I put them both, if I put the direct signal of the bass straight into Black Eyes and then into Quinta, then into Black Eyes, you're going to hear like a reverb. There's a latency I'm feeling. It's just a hair late. That's definitely something to wrestle with. So I want to make sure that I brought that up right away. I do notice latency with Quinta, but let's play around with this. Okay, obviously this isn't really, I mean, it's fine, but it's not super usable. So a lot of guys are setting up and using bass tones by just throwing up the single octave. That's the classic OC2 sound. Okay, just the bottom octave up. Ooh, that's really, really hot. Okay, let's turn down the output. Now, if you'll notice, I'm playing up an octave. Okay. The other thing you'll notice is it's not tracking the lower notes on a bass very well. Okay, so you really have to play up high. But I'm going to show you what I've been able to come up with in a second. So let's experiment. Let's throw the fifth on top. So now I'm taking out no bottom octave, just the bass, and the fifth, the octave up. I'm going to move the mix back to 50-50. Now, so you can get some really interesting effects with the fifth. You don't always have to crank it all the way. Now let's throw the high octave up. Let's turn that gain down a bit. And then if you take the mix out all the dry signal. Now, you can also get power chords. And you can play all the Owner of a Lonely Heart solos that you want. That's always the first thing I think of when I hear the kind of fifth up. Now, let me show you the cool thing that I figured out. Now, I was thinking about this, and I'm thinking, okay, it doesn't track low notes very well. But it tracks the high notes okay. I mean, when I play lower on the fingerboard, it doesn't track those notes very well, but it does track them fine if I play up higher on the neck. So, I'm playing a bass, so the lower octave can get super muddy really quick. So, this is where BST 100 and Delay 3000 comes in. Now, I'm going to split the signal, and I'm going to parallel route. Okay, this is the advantage of having something like 8 Matrix. You see everything on the same screen, and all of your routings are right in front of you. So, I'm going to run gain pan straight into black ice beta gamma. So I get a bass tone. Okay, we're going to turn this up and get a nice... Okay, so now we've got a fundamental bass tone that's nice and strong and clean and unaffected. We're also going to run the dry signal into Quinta. Then I'm going to run Quinta into Delay 3000. Actually, you know what? Into the amp first, then I'm going to run into Delay 3000. Okay. Now, I'm going to go over here. We're going to turn the noise gate on. We're going to set up Delay 3000. I'm going to go to the saturation, and I'm going to turn the grit and the smear up a little bit. That does two things. First of all, it distorts the delays, which is cool, but it also kind of raises the volume of the delays. So it's, you know, for my purposes, dual function. I'm going to go to a dotted eighth note to make it simple, leave the delays there. So now I've got the high octave and the fifth up running through a guitar amp, and I've got my standard bass signal running through a bass amp. The only thing that's coming through Quinta is the tones that Quinta is generating, because I've mixed out my dry signal. And I get this. Now let's add a little. Now, what happens if we add in, let's slow the drums down. I'm going to switch over to rock drums, and we're going to pick a really big, loosey, big, super big kit. I don't even know what it sounds like right now, right? Let's see what 84. That's a little too open. That's cool. That'll work. Okay, let's go to the mixer. Turn that up a little bit. Now we can do this. There are a lot of options for interesting ways to use guitar effects on bass or even on guitar with setups in 8-matrix and parallel routing. You could use this as a live rig. You have a whole different setup on page 2 and a whole different setup on page 3, and then, you know, maybe a blue board on the floor, an iRig blue board to switch between them or something. There's a lot of different possibilities, but I've been having a lot of fun. Now let's see, what else can we do And then if you want to get super meaty, that is Nembrini Audio's Quinta Pitch Machine. So if you like this video and you want to see more of this kind of thing, please give the channel a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more, and go check me out on Facebook and on Instagram and on Twitter and on all the other social media platforms, and make sure you go check out Daveypoo.bandcamp.com. There's 13 albums up there, plus a few, and 99% of the music up there is up there for free. So go see what I do in real life and go see the music I actually make. I teach you stuff, but hey, look, I make music too. So please go to Daveypoo.bandcamp.com, and I hope you guys are all doing great. And if you like this, like I said, thumbs up, and I will see you guys next time. Later.